All right, and this is going to be a great show. This fantasy booking we're doing this week is going to be the most epic of fantasy booking. Oh, it's going to be so great. Oh, man.
Tim, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I've spent basically the last week hanging out in my place, social distancing as best as I possibly can for an introvert, and totally not doing the thing you told me to do for homework at all.
No, I mean, it's just good. Oh my God, the ideas I have, it's gonna be brilliant. So, Adam, I just have. Are you ready for this?
No, Tim. That's basically what I just said. I'm not ready for this at all.
No, Adam, come on, tell me, you're ready for this.
No, how many times do I have to tell you I'm not ready?
Adam, I said.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's time for As the Buckle Turns. I'm your host, Adam.
And I'm the king of predictions. Tim.
Shut up, man.
And yes, the current predictions champion. Actually, no, why not? I held it up, remember?
Yes, you abdicated.
I advocated because I didn't want to win it at there, but I am still the king of predictions, and I have the proof to prove it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
But, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a show.
Yeah, the movings and happenings in pro wrestling this last week have been next to nothing. Yeah.
Outside the few little news that we actually have, it's we're gonna try stuff. See if we actually we actually are in a fantasy book if we need so I think we're gonna go through the news like super fast.
Probably.
Just not what we were originally gonna fantasy book, so
yeah.
And we're gonna do it on the spot. Basically, we've literally had 20 minutes to think of our ideas for this idea.
Yes, you've had 20 minutes. I have done nothing.
Well, I came up with the idea and instantly knew what I was going to do because we've talked about some of this stuff already. But I just came up with a few new ideas of how to go about it. And it's probably not going to be the most epic of fantasy booking, like I said in the intro. But we're trying to be entertaining, you know. And I'm glad, Adam, to see that you're finally self-distancing and self-quarantining.
Yes.
I've been self-quarantining myself from you since last year.
I am very glad. I'm very glad that you've been keeping your distance from me. It really helps. It helps with my day-to-day life.
I was so determined to self-quarantine from you that I was willing to go into more debt in student loan debt.
See? I'm so glad that you were willing to take that kind of risk.
All right, let's jump right into the ratings for last night's NXT and Dynamite.
Yes. Adam,
who do you think won the night?
Well, I mean, the way it's been going for so long in 2020, is that AEW won again.
Yeah, wrong. NXT.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. Read that back.
Oh, my bad. No, it said Dynamite. You know, I saw Dynamite. I thought NXT. You know, they're so easy to confuse.
I totally understand. Dynamite's on TNT. TNT shares 2 of 3 letters with NXT. I totally understand. I've made that mistake myself a few times.
Yes, Dynamite once again won the night with 819,000 viewership, which is down 12% from the week before.
Yes.
NXT has gone up 23% to 669,000 viewers. I think the word got out that last week's show was not another recap show.
Yeah.
So people this week tuned in for it.
I have to say that both shows are doing a great job of moving forward no matter what regarding, empty arena shows.
Yeah. It is interesting. I noticed on social media that someone asked Tony Khan about how Raw switched to the facing the stage angle.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, they can't. He's like, yes, I did find that interesting, but you can't. Let's just be honest. AEW can't take credit for it. Impact has been doing that for a long time.
Yep.
As well as Ring of Honor, so it's
a number of places do that. Also, for me it's a really cool thing because typically you'll have a hard cam side. Now WWE and AEW, that side normally doesn't really have a lot of people on it. So to a wrestler, they're talking to an empty audience right there.
Yeah.
Now, the putting it so it's facing the stage, typically you have that hard cam sitting just above a bunch of people.
Yep.
So you're just like, okay, there are people here. You can see both sides are filled up. People right here filled up. But also at the same time, if you're hiding numbers, it's easier to do that too.
Yep. It was a good idea to switch the angle because it does look a little weird not having people in the background for the empty arenas.
Yes.
But it was a good idea for that. But once again, AEW wins the night, and NXT still hasn't gotten a win in this year.
No,
far.
Not in 2020. I do have to say, AEW, though, is turning out better television. I mean, Where else are you going to see a Le Champion talk shit to a drone?
No. Also, but it does kind of suck, though, that now after Moxley won the championship, his title win is kind of deflated because of everything.
Yes.
So it just kind of sucks. But we'll see. I think Moxley's a charismatic enough guy that when we can get people back into these arenas for these shows, we'll see it. It'll be a surprise. It'll be a good thing. Before we move on to some other things that are a little bit more bigger, I'm going to bring up a topic I keep meaning to bring up, but independent star Teddy Hart has been arrested for the third time this year.
We're in March. This is the third month of the year.
Yep, and it's the third time this year he's been arrested. This time, he's gone too far, according to the story that I'm reading on Wrestling Inc. So, independent former East Montana did a video and told the story.
Okay.
The video has been removed, but there's quotes from it.
Oh.
In it, he says, and talks about a claim that Teddy Hart has assaulted Maria Manic. I'm assuming she's another independent star because if she's not a wrestler, she has the most wrestler name by queer lunacy.
Exactly. That's definitely a wrestling name, though.
Her parents must have been really big wrestling fans if she's not an actual wrestler to give her that name.
She's from... what, you've never heard of the Connecticut Manics? They're blue blood money, I do have to say. Old family.
Yeah, but he was physically assaulted. Let's make it very clear, it's physical.
Okay.
Not sexual. To the point where he points out that he had to pull his gun on Teddy Hart.
Oh.
And kicked him out of the house because she was texting him that she was in danger. He choked her out and wouldn't let her get help. So he had to throw him out of the house before the cops got there to arrest him. He's a piece of shit and needs to go to jail. And he's gotten lucky from some of his charges that have been dropped. And it's clearly because they've gotten dropped, he thinks he's untouchable.
I'm just how is he related to the rest of the Hearts again?
I don't remember. Let me Google that. Because, it's not like we have a magical device that can tell us this.
Turns out he's not. Like, he's not a heart. He's not a real heart.
Oh, okay. He just uses the last name then.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so according to Wikipedia, I have some of his legal troubles.
Yeah.
In 2014, in December, he was arrested in Canada by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for charges on sexual assault involving 2 women. They were dropped in June 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Oh no, he is related to the Hearts.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Then we have another one. January 1st of 2017, he was arrested in Texas on a DUI. The charges were later dropped.
Mm-hmm.
He was arrested February in Virginia. He was charged with possession of a Schedule number 3 substance and intent on selling and distribution. On March 4th, he once again arrested in Virginia for violating his conditions of his bail by not staying under house arrest.
How do you not stay under house arrest?
And then we have this one of March 26th, where he was arrested in Virginia again for the 3rd time of assaulting an independent wrestler. She was an independent wrestler. So, yes. He's definitely bringing shame to his family name.
Yeah, totally. Like, I'm sorry, the Hearts need to get together and be like, look, you can't use the name anymore.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be Teddy Annis.
Yeah. Assuming he actually get gigs, because I don't think people are going to book him anymore.
Probably not.
Well, at least not in this country. Maybe outside. But yeah, so he definitely needs to get some help, but it doesn't look like he wants to. I did see some around here. Where was it?
Yeah.
He suffers from bipolar disorder, but not medicated.
Oh.
Does not medicate. So that's part of an issue.
So, that's so hard. Dude, get on your medication, seriously.
So yeah, that's an issue there. All right, Adam, what else have we got on the background?
Let's go ahead and I want to go over 2 promos, but first, let's go ahead and talk about the fact that some things about WrestleMania have already been leaked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why people got to do this?
So they're using limited crews.
Yeah.
And people. The rumor is all the big, high-profile matches were filmed last night. So
yeah. No, I heard that they were going through and doing the recordings this week.
Yeah. So
there was a bunch of stuff that they were doing. They were doing Raws, SmackDowns, and WrestleMania.
What they recorded on this weekend was Raw, a few weeks of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Apparently they were back at Full Sail. They got permission to actually use Full Sail.
Okay.
To kind of get out of the Performance Center. I don't know if I didn't watch any of the highlights from Raw this week to see if that's where they were for there. But
I did not verify that. I'm sorry.
Either not, but I know that they were. There's a bunch of people saw a lot of WWE trucks in the parking lot at Full Sail. But so they're doing that, and then last night and tonight they're filming all of WrestleMania.
Okay.
And the rumor that was going around is the last night they got all the big high-profile matches. So tonight, what they're filming is basically the lower-profile matches.
Okay.
And because we go on lockdown here in Orlando at midnight. So, and apparently there's been a curfew in Orange County for a week of 11 p.m.
11 a.m.
I never heard about. Well, this is according to my roommate, but I never saw anything about it, so...
Huh.
Though, literally from my apartment, if I go out the front gates of my apartment and go right, about 100, 200, maybe 300 feet, I'm literally in the next county.
You're like, I'm not in your county anymore. I can be outside.
So yeah.
Immediately the police just look at you and go, now you can stay over there. And you're like, but all my stuff's back over there, man. And they're like, nope, now you got the Rona. You got the Rona, you got to stay over.
I'm going to be like, yeah, you're going to have someone here the entire 2 weeks to make sure I don't cross back over.
They're like, you know what, just get back in your place. Just get back in your place. And you're like, all right.
First off, like, the lockdown is we're not fully locked down where we can't leave. We're only supposed to leave for certain things, seeking medical help, are for work-related issues that we have to.
Right.
And if you have to go to the store to get food and supplies, that's the reason why you're allowed to.
Up in New Hampshire, we're doing that tomorrow at noon. Actually, when this show goes up, it will have already gone into effect.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's just like it's a good thing, but going back to the whole thing of WrestleMania leaking, limited crew. So whoever leaked this, or who leaked this, we don't know if it's one person or many people. They clearly aren't either happy with their job, or just to the point in their job that they just don't give a fuck if they're found out.
Yeah.
They have been the leaker, because it takes some balls to leak this stuff. Because one of the other things that they were doing, I've heard, is that WWE took over an entire hotel. No one else was allowed to stay there, and they were basically operating out of this weekend there. Basically locking everyone here down. You weren't allowed to go out. You could not leave to go outside. Like, they took over the entire hotel. They were having, they took over the conference room for the hotel. And everything. And using it as their main base for everything they were going to be doing for this weekend, in this week.
That's cool.
And just making sure people were locked down. Jerry Lawler pointed out when a story about when you showed up, they literally came up into a rental car that you got in. They drove you into the area before you could go anywhere else. They plugged a thermometer in your ear to see if you had a fever. If you didn't have a fever, you could go in. If you didn't,
wow.
Assuming they're just send you home. Well, because Vince is down here. He's not operating out of Connecticut.
No,
he's down in Orlando right now, and he's in that range. He's in the high risk. He's like 76, 75,
73.
Somewhere around there. 73. I was close because, well, if you look at him, sometimes he looks a little bit younger than 70.
Yes.
And other times you look like nope, you look like you're almost 80.
I don't know what's going on with the lighting right now, but damn, you look old.
He's still in great shape because he still works out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he is in one of those major risks, as well as like Jerry Lawler.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they don't want to spread it. They're ironically thinking of their employees and their wrestlers.
What?
I couldn't resist. I had to get a dig in there. So
I understand.
It's kind of interesting that these have dropped already, but if I find them if someone posts them online, I'll look at them because I'm not watching WrestleMania this year, so I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna spoil them for anyone else because that makes me a douchebag.
Right.
But yeah. Speaking of WrestleMania and
oh yeah,
network,
also I purposely I'm not going to look at those spoilers. Like I just some things I kind of guess where those well, partly because I still need to do the predictions.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if I find them, I'm not gonna look at them until we've done our predictions. Because I'm already too good at predicting WWE events.
You don't need to cheat.
I don't.
I do.
Like, here, Adam, maybe this will help you with this week.
You just send me the link. I'm like, oh, thanks,
and then I
man.
still like crush. And then I still crush you.
No. They double filmed everything.
So, but speaking of the WrestleMania and the network in general, we need to mention a few months ago that they launched a free tier version of the network.
Right.
Well, apparently they opened up a lot of stuff on the free tier for people so they can watch. Like, we're talking about recent episodes of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown.
Oh.
Every episode of WWE Untold, and there's a future WWE the FCW story that's going to be debuting. That will be accessible immediately, and much more. Like, you can watch older WrestleMania, the complete WrestleMania, and other countless pay-per-views as well on this free one right now.
Even the ones with Benoit on them?
Probably, because they don't they're on there. They just put a disclaimer before those.
Well,
those ones.
Either that or it'll be like an episode of WCW Nitro or Thunder, and it'll be like Chris Jericho in singles action, and you're like,
and he's in a tag match.
Oh no, it'll be a singles match against Benoit, but like everything else on the card will be Hulk Hogan singles actions against so and so.
Yeah, because. Their WWE is just so afraid of being advertising Benoit and make it look like they're glorifying it.
Yeah. Which,
Adam, you had an interesting little thing you watched.
So I started the Vice documentary Dark Side of the Ring, the Benoit story.
Yeah, I'm going to start watching that soon.
Oh, it's good. I mean, I've literally watched the first half hour and had to walk away because I was like, that is a lot to digest. That is a lot because... First of all, a lot of the people being interviewed are either, I mean, it's his oldest son, his wife's sister, Nancy's sister, Vicky Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, JR is interviewed, Chris Jericho is interviewed. It's a Dean Malenko. And you know that this is relatively recent because JR immediately is like, I work for AEW.
Yeah. And these are all people who had great relationships with Chris Benoit.
Yes.
And they're talking about, I remember like I watched the trailer of it when it dropped, and the trailer ends with Chris Jericho basically saying, he's about to tell a story. He's like, if you're just gonna say like I'm glorifying a murderer, just stop listening. Walk with it. Don't listen. You're just be dumb because I'm not gonna I don't want to hear that.
I mean, because this first half hour is really it's the setup. We all know it's the setup, but it's everyone talking about Nancy and Chris getting together. Chris's early work. He and Eddie, the first time that they were working together in New Japan, actually disliked each other. Like, to the point that Eddie was coming home and being like, I can't believe I have to work with this asshole. And Chris was just like, I don't like working with him. He's a perfectionist. Which is weird because they're both perfectionists.
Yeah. Funny story about Eddie Guerrero, because I watched JBL, who's been self-quarantined, posted on Twitter a story about Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle getting in a fight backstage after a match they had. Apparently, he's talking about how like back in the day they had like communal locker rooms.
Yeah.
You basically dressed near people you were friends with, but he was the only one in the locker room at this point. And all of a sudden they had a match. Apparently something didn't go right, and like they come back through, and then they just were yelling at each other. And he's still alone in the locker room. And he can hear people talking, and someone commented like, he talked about how he was in the locker room for this whole thing, didn't see it, but he talks exactly what Eddie Guerrero did. How does he do that? He's like, well, people were talking, it was very clear on the situation. Basically, what Eddie Guerrero did eventually is he decided to shoot for the legs of Angle.
Oh yes, I remember this story.
Yeah, JBL points out, it's like, Kurt Angle, he wasn't a really good high school or a really good college wrestler. He was the best damn wrestler in the world, and you shot in on him. And they quickly broke it up, and I think he said like Pat Patterson or Jerry Briscoe like they were right outside the door and like came in, pushed Eddie into the room and like closed the door of the locker room. So it's just him and Eddie, who comes over and sits next to him because they're friends, and he's just like, he could hear him, and he's just like, Eddie, you shot in on a elliptical mirror. Why would you do that? And he just turns and like, I'm fucking stupid. It was fucking stupid.
He's like, I made a bad decision, and right now I am more angry at the fact that I'm embarrassed, and it was my own decision that embarrassed me.
Yeah. So it was a good story. I mean, not a big fan of JBL, but he's a good storyteller.
Oh yeah.
And he has tons of these stories. So it's kind of funny, cool that he's kind of taking some time on Twitter to do them. Away from that, the building porn that he likes to look at.
Yeah.
And accidentally exposed himself on Twitter too.
Yeah, good job, JBL.
But yeah, so it's just going back to like the network. I mean, going back to like you're saying, I saw the trailer. It looks good. I'm definitely gonna watch it at some point because it's still a shock.
Oh yeah.
It's been so long. But what else do we have, Adam?
We got to talk about 2 promos that happened on AEW, and one of them is absolutely bananas, and the other one takes a great prod at somebody who deserves to be prodded quite often with cattle prod.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear WWE's initials there.
No,
we
AEW.
Don't follow anybody yet. Oh wait, my bad. Old Tim came back for a second.
Yeah. So Brody Lee had a promo this week where he was having dinner with 2 other members of the Dark Order. I forget exactly who it was. It's the two guys who have been, like, their story has been that they joined the Dark Order to start winning, and now they're like, why are we here? This is weird.
Yeah, because I think they're terrified of being next to the Exalted One.
Exactly. One of them almost finish his dinner early. Brody kicks him out because you don't finish before the Exalted One.
You don't start eating before the Exalted.
Oh yes, sorry.
It's done.
And then the other one sneezed. And we all know that Vince McMahon hates sneezing.
Yeah. So listen, Wrestle Talk was talking about this in their review and saying how it was like a mob boss type like atmosphere, which was a different twist in what you would be thinking, and they have built up for the Dark Order.
Yeah.
Because Brody Lee was intended to always be the Exalted One.
Right.
After they knew Marty Scurll was not coming over.
Yes.
Because it was always meant to be Marty, and they were leading into that dark side for a while. So, but once they knew Brody Lee was coming in, and that's when they built it. So this mob boss, it just didn't really mess with some of the stuff they had did, but it was a definitely nice little twist. And it was definitely digs at Vince. Though, like Wrestle Talk was talking about, like, I don't know of any stories of Vince having to eat before people.
No.
I actually have found one on Wrestling Inc. We've kind of a story of a certain steakhouse where he notorious has to be the first one to eat.
Well, he also enjoys eating steak wraps.
Yeah, like
burritos.
He will always eat steak though. Um,
But the sneezing one we all know about.
Yeah. The rest talked about this, and I don't remember hearing it, but maybe I have. But they were recounting how there's back when like Heyman back in like 2004 when he was running SmackDown.
Okay.
He was pitching to Vince a 6-month story that Vince was into, like totally engrossed in. Then he sneezed.
Oh no.
And he lost him, and they didn't do that storyline.
Oh.
The second he sneezed, he just took him out of it, and he lost him. There was another one talking about how Stephanie says like he doesn't hate me because I sneeze. I've been around when he sneezes, and he just hates it because it's something he can't control. He's just like, but yeah, it's just like you sneeze, it's done. Like apparently they stopped pushing people because they sneezed around him.
Wow.
Like, that's how much he hates sneezing.
That's
how
ridiculous.
Much control freak he is. But yes, it was a nice little dig at there. I clicked on a clickbaity headline on Wrestling Inc., which doesn't do clickbaity headlines.
Not all the time.
This one was definitely a clickbaity one because it said, "Oh, some people were upset with that dig at Vince McMahon." So I click on the article to see more about it. It recounts the article, and I scroll, I'm like, well, this didn't cover that. So I read it again. And then I scrolled to the comments, seeing if anyone pulled out that they didn't talk about this. But before, I was almost posted. And then I was like, I read it one more time. There's a line, like, after the description of the segment, where it literally says in the title, what was the title, but it added, most likely from WWE, most likely people in WWE. That's it.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my god, I just wasted... I read it 3 times to make sure, and I was like, oh my god, I just wasted time, valuable minutes.
Yep.
Trying on this article.
Yeah, you totally did.
And I was like, I almost commented, but I was like, no, that's going to be wasting more time on this stupid piece of shit. I will probably call them out at some point for it, but if I see more of those, I will stop. I'm not going to deal with it. But they don't normally do stuff like that, so... But yeah. From the segment, it says, I know a lot of people were saying they're wondering if this is going to be like another, almost a reboot, of the reboot of from the original reboot of the Dark Order. Because when they debuted at Double or Nothing, they were something completely different.
Yes.
Then when we got to TV, they were something different, building towards like what they were going to do with Marty. And now it seems like maybe they're rebooting because they have to fit Brody Lee's new version of his character.
I mean, really, one of the things that they could go ahead and do with this overall is that Brody Lee's the top. You've got Evil Uno, and oh god, why do I forget his name? The tag team, the Dark Order, directly under him. He could, if anyone challenges him, Brody Lee or either member of the Dark Order or as a tag team, they have to defeat a bunch of minions first. And it's just a bunch of guys until they get to that actual tag team, which I forget those guys' names right now. Who that's kind of like the end of the minions. You're like, these are the last 2 minions. Then you face the Dark Order. Then you face the Exalted One. And do an entire storyline where every time they beat somebody, they recruit them.
That's be interesting to see what they do with it, because
build them as an NWO for a little while. Only a weird kind of culty NWO.
I would, because it felt like more like a mob boss according to people.
Oh yeah.
The wrestlers were saying it. They should, if they're gonna go in that direction, do it, but you don't add too many people into it.
Not right away.
But if it works out well, if like once we get people back in the seats, and Brody is getting really over, he should be the one that takes the belt off of Moxley.
Oh, see, that would be cool, because I would love to see Brody Lee be like, no, Moxley, I'm coming for your belt. And basically a Batman versus Bane situation here, where Batman has to fight through everyone that the Dark Order sends at him. Week after week. Much like how it was the Inner Circle, was always trying to beat up Moxley for a while. And Moxley oversold. But that's only 6. The Dark Order is infinite.
Yeah.
And it's just minions week in and week out.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this. But actually, now that I think about it, maybe he shouldn't be the one who takes it off Moxley.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. I gotta say this now because I just coughed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not dying of the Rona. I have seasonal allergies, and the melting season when mold and fungus are like at their peak poor season is when I am the most stuffed up and coughing. I hate this shit.
Wait, you're allergic to Corona, the beer?
No.
Man, I feel sorry for you.
I mean, I don't drink beer anymore. Like, I really don't.
Because you're a whiskey man.
Yes, give me whiskey, give me vodka, give me vodka. Really, just give me vodka.
Here you go. But yeah,
I got yelled at for pouring a shot when my roommate told me to take a shot. It was a sip. He keeps saying it was a sip. He's like, take a sip. And I'm like, to me, you don't tell a man who says a sip is a shot to take a sip. Because I'm going to take a shot. That's a sip. It's just a little bit.
And what else you got on the docket?
The batshit insane promo that was Chris Jericho and Matt Hardy. First of all, you got Chris Jericho talking to Vanguard 1 for a while. And then calling Vanguard 1 a piece of shit. Then you got Matt Hardy teleporting into the arena and around the arena, which, by the way, I think that's really cool. I like that idea of that Matt Hardy moves around the arena without people knowing.
Well, see, I mean, I know Wrestle Talk did not like it. Like, Ollie Davis did not like it. He thought it was one thing for an empty arena, but he's like, it's one thing for Matt Hardy to believe he's a 5,000-year-old vampire.
3,000.
But AEW actually believing it and showing that he has magical powers is contrary to what they've already been doing.
You know what?
Other stuff. So, I kind of agree with him on that one. It was definitely kind of cool because you could do it because it's not live.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of agree with him. There's still so much you could do with Matt Hardy's broken character.
During a live show, of course, the most on the teleportation that you could do is getting in and out of the ring at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, doing a up in the rafters, and then on screen, in the back, and then down, because you could do a pre-taped segment while he moves from in the luxury boxes down to up on stage.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. They go with it. I mean, it's the second episode that he's been on.
Yeah,
and you're in an empty arena. So we really don't know how well the broken character is going to come off of until he's live. We know there are independent fans who love this gimmick, but we're not. They're on a national level bigger than it was the last time they really used it. Yes. And I'm not talking about Woken because Woken was different.
Oh, that was terrible. It was there. Like, yeah, never mind. Seeing Matt going where I enjoyed the back and forth between Jericho and Hardy just the entire time, because Chris is just like, I'm not buying any of this. I'm talking to the guy that I know from North Carolina that wrestled with me for so long. That's the person that I'm talking to. And then Matt's just like, but I see inside you, Jericho of Chris, whole of ass. Yes, that's right.
One thing that I know, I remember, and is he did of course, once he debuted with AEW last week, he did the obligation of showing up on Jericho's podcast the next day.
Yes.
Where you do the traditional, let's dish on WWE. And he's talked about how he pitched a lot of these different things with him and Bray's story. And just never happened because Vince didn't understand it. And one time he saw that him and Bray were laughing, doing their laughs. Vince loved it, so they had to do it after every single segment. Every single segment, killing it.
Okay.
And when they did the final deletion match last year, before wrestling, that main evented the show.
Yep.
It was pre-recorded, so they were in the truck watching it. After it ended, people in the truck were getting up, applauding, shaking hands. Vince is just sitting there looking around and is like, not sure, and he just tells people like, if this is good and does numbers, then I'm truly out of touch. It maintained the 3 million viewership.
Yeah, Vince, you're out of touch.
Yeah. So, that's the reason why basically you had this brawl with Bray, like this match with these things with Bray, and then just like it fizzled because Vince didn't understand it and he just pulled the plug.
Yeah.
Like everything he does, if he doesn't understand it, he has to pull. I mean, I understand. You want to know what is going out in your waves, but knowing there's an audience for it out there.
Yeah.
And let it actually try more than 3 weeks, 3 months.
Right.
Of really going as hard as you can, to then see, to make sure it's going over, and do it that way. Because who knew if the Fiend would have worked if they didn't do all those segments?
Right.
And they played it over weeks. And they seen that people were very interested because we like Bray. We want him to succeed because he had the Raw end of the deal, and he got the Raw end of the deal again. So, Adam, we have a Jim Cornette thing we gotta talk about.
Oh, what's going on with good old Cordy?
It's actually a good thing.
Oh, God damn it. No. No. No, 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 no.
I know, it's one of the signs of the apocalypse, so...
We've got
only
famine.
One sign.
Jim Cornette's correct on something. Damn it.
There's only 2 signs right now.
Okay.
Don't worry, we're still good. Basically, he takes Braun Strowman to task for his tweets about how he's annoyed with people on the independent scene setting up GoFundMe accounts and saying, "Oh, how dare you do this? Maybe you should have worked harder."
Just an audible gasp.
Let me
Shame.
Let me read the tweet because there's quite a few tweets on this rant, which he eventually said. I'll tell you when he apologized. Why? But it's not much of an apology. But here's the main tweet. He said, "Here we go with more of the somebody pay my bills stuff. If you can't afford to pay your bills, maybe you should change professions. That's why I quit Strongman. I loved it, but I couldn't afford to live. So instead of making me a GoFundMe or a Patreon, wanting someone else to take care of me, I went out and worked harder than I ever had in my life and got where I am. What happened to being accountable for your own actions?" So tweet on there after that, he responded, he's like, "And before anyone," and he tagged, that was just him. He tweeted himself. But
okay.
He said, said, "And anyone out there goes and says that's easy for you to say, you're a WWE superstar, and for your information, 7 years ago when I moved to Florida with everything I owned in a Kia Soul with $150,000 to my name when I started this."
So he should actually completely understand where independent wrestlers feel, because if he hadn't succeeded in WWE, he'd be in their exact position right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, that he said in other tweets I read he's talking about like he worked a lot of jobs, like he worked hard in between these things to do that, and that's what he's basically saying you should be doing that too. Well, the situation, it's not their fault that this coronavirus came up and all their dates are canceled. They should have worked harder. Oh, you mean they should have worked even harder to make more money so it wouldn't affect them? Yeah. Let me read you Cornette's response.
Okay.
So he's wrote up until 7 years ago, Strowman was a fucking bum. You are big and you're strong as Strowman. WWE notices you basically pays you to go to school. He was paid to train, has guaranteed contract, and gets paid whether he wrestles or not. Strowman has said he has not been getting paid because he's not working, so that's debatable, but who knows. He couldn't have survived in the actual wrestling business. He never paid his dues. He got paid to train and learn and got a guaranteed contract. I don't understand why Strowman acts like it's their choice. Their bookings got canceled.
Yeah.
That's not any of their fault. For a guy who's guaranteed money to be down on them, fuck you, you big fat fuck. He's a fat head.
Okay, Corny. You had a point, and then when you closed it, when you meant to really close out your argument and really put that last bit right there, you went way too far. Okay.
Yes, as he always does.
Wow. Yeah. Second sign of the apocalypse. Cornette standing up to people, actually, and on the good side of the situation.
Yeah. It's interesting because we kind of talked about this beforehand, that how we're noticing a lot of people in WWE just don't really give a shit about the independents or other people because they've made it big. And because you actually said that to me, and my response was like, well, can you blame them? Because they actually made it to the big leagues, and WWE's not shy of saying on TV, if we fire you, you won't make a living. You'll be poor. You're going to have to get unemployment and all that. You'll never make money again because you're not working for WWE. And it's clear that a bunch of them, and it's clearly behind the scenes too, this attitude that, and if you were like Strowman, who's never been on the independent scene, you're going to have this mind frame of like, I worked hard and I got this. No, you have exactly what the WWE looks for, and well, we don't know for a fact that he got paid to train. We know he got a contract.
Yes.
But you're getting paid to train, but it's still, who knows if what that is. Cormac could have some inside knowledge on that, maybe not. Strowman has stated that how much. Someone asked him how much he's getting, if he's making coming in. He's like, nothing. I'm not working. I'm not getting paid, according to Strowman. So he may not.
It could be the way his contract was made. That his guaranteed money is like paid up front.
It's possible.
And he's like, well, right now, without working, I'm not until, the next year of my contract kicks in, and then I get this big lump sum.
So it also could just be he's downside his guarantees gone through, and he hasn't, so he's not getting anything because he's not working tapings at the moment with everything going on. Don't know. It could be many things. But he did just sign a new contract, so he's making a lot more money because WWE's throwing money at people so they'll stay.
Exactly.
So
he definitely fits into he definitely fits the WWE mold for pro wrestler.
Yep. So it's just like, I think he's trying to get a giant push out of this because he saw it worked for Rollins, who was flangling as the Universal Champion.
Yep.
And now he's not Universal Champion or WWE Champion right now. He is in a really hot story as the Monday Night Messiah and his flock, his disciples.
Yes.
So maybe he's trying to do the same thing. Maybe if I piss enough people on the internet, they'll actually say, I'll start getting booed, and then they'll force me in, and I'll get a really hot storyline off.
I mean, if you want to look at it, that's kind of how it worked for Baron Corbin.
Yep.
People hated him. Wins King of the Ring.
And they kept pushing him way beyond what we want him to be. He's okay at pushing him for, and he got go away heat.
Yep.
But he did actually respond, apologize, and after this big rant, eventually saying, "Look, guys, I'm at home. I'm bored. I get on and I just get on these tangents." Basically, a non-apology in a sense. It came off it to me, at least.
No, I kind of understand. I mean, he's a country boy, so sometimes country boys get on their soapbox just a little bit. Next thing they know, those Twitter fingers start getting a little crazy. And then you get yourself all up in that Twitterverse, and then you got yourself Jim Cornette telling people the real things. Wow, what the hell happened?
Yeah, no, it's still not an excuse.
Oh. That's ridiculous.
Well, I will say this, going back to Brody Lee's promo for a second.
Yeah, let's go back to Brody.
I can't help but think that promo would have been better if it had a southern accent.
Yes. Just to have that little extra dig at Vince, because Vince is actually from South Carolina.
Yep.
Which, remember the last time Vince cut a promo and there was like a southern twang in there, and everyone was like, "What the hell is this?" You're like, well, technically he is from South Carolina. You could take the country boy out of the country, but he's always going to have a little bit of country in him.
Yeah. So, all right, Adam, I got nothing else. What do you got?
I really do not. I mean, I like what they're doing with Brody Lee. I'm hoping that it saves the Dark Order and they move more into a NWO DX-esque group that is just designed to keep like Brody Lee up in the main event at all times.
Yeah, as well bring these other talents up and around with them.
Oh yeah,
but he's the exalted one. So
Ministry, the Ministry, man.
That's what this whole thing was all about. Like even his reveal last week, when you look at how when he pull off the mask and you see it, and he does that disc towards you want the first old man not to believe in me. It was that whole reveal. You can even say is a jab at Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah, the higher power. Come on, man.
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting. Adam, so we've been recording for about 51 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you want to just call it?
Yeah, we're gonna call it here. No, you know what? I'm gonna title this episode "Not Fantasy Booking."
So, yeah, we'll save that our fantasy booking for an episode.
Probably next week because honestly, there's going to be I really feel I've got all this extra time. I took this week as a pure vacation. Like next week, I've got house projects to do. I think next week, I'll probably come on the show and be like, dude, I need to talk about Wrestle Kingdom here for a second.
only 3 months too late.
Just a little bit late. And let's just say right now, I watched about an hour of it and went, okay. Out of 2 nights, I've watched 1 hour so far.
I watched the main championship matches from the tag team championships all the way through to the end of the first night. I never watched the second night just because the guy I wanted to be in the main event of the next night didn't win, and I really wasn't interested in Naito and
Ibushi.
No, not Naito and the Rainmaker.
Oh yeah, and Okada.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry. Spoilers.
What? Dude, we've been over the results already.
I know.
I'm just watching for the action. We're gonna call it here,
folks. Sorry for the kind of advertising fantasy booking, and now we're neglecting it. But
what are you saying that we may have done some clickbait with our title?
No, because you're just going to call it not fantasy booking. So we're not, we kind of advertise it in...
I'm going to do really tiny letters for not. See if I can do that. Yeah.
But yeah, if you have an issue with us not fantasy booking, because we said so in the episode, and, well, Let us know down in the comment section.
Ooh, what a novel idea.
Ran about why that we advertised it in the beginning of this episode and then we didn't follow through with it. I said we might not do it.
Two weeks in a row. We've talked about fantasy booking and it hasn't happened yet.
Adam just wants to see how far we can go before we actually get the fantasy book. That's what he's doing.
I'm gonna stretch this out like who ran over Stone Cold.
God.
I did it for The Rock.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you tonight. Since you made it to the end of this podcast, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up.
Boop.
Since it's right there, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Ding.
Ring that bell.
Ding, ding, ding.
And get bent. Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got anything?
Like all those assholes who don't give a fuck if they give out the coronavirus. Booyah!
Wow. I mean, you ended with a booyah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a thing.